OW, right?
Hey, Sharon!
Hey, Tasha.
How you doing, boo?
It's been a minute. It is so good to
Man!
see you.
Like we haven't seen each other, but it's
But right.
good to see you in this platform.
Yes, and it's so good to come in and see other folks and come and talk. We have been away,
Yeah,
right?
working, grinding.
Grinding, working. We've had some just some great events that we've just been participating in.
Yep.
Not the least of which is going to Essence Fest this past weekend.
Hey, now I'm a first. It was my first.
And you didn't get to see everything that there was, but it was amazing.
Not even a smidge of what was there, I'm sure, right? Because I was also trying to just grab a little bit of rest. A little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey!
Hey, Nan. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Yvonne. How are you? So, listen, let's just get into it. Like, one of the major events that we went to was called the Crown Awards, and where we were honoring women who are doing their best to change the law so that we don't have hair discrimination.
Yeah.
And so honoring women who are pushing those things forward in entertainment and business and so on and so forth. And so Tabitha Brown, and we all know and love Tabitha Brown.
Yes. To Tab.
I mean, Tab was Tab, and she came through and she said she was being honored, and she said something that inspired this conversation was, we all we got,
And we
all we need.
Yep.
Now, how did that speak to you?
So I'm gonna just say the entire event. First of all, I'm not a very emotional person, right?
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Well, it takes a lot to move me, I feel like.
Right?
You think? No? Okay.
Keep going.
Anyway, I mean, the entire afternoon, it was about 2 or 3 hours, right? But it didn't feel that long, but I was so full afterwards. The love in the room, it was amazing, right? And I'm telling you, like, I was like crying low key. I was like, is somebody looking at me like I don't even know these people? But I could feel the love, I could feel the pain, right? I could feel the power. Um, I was full.
So let's talk about some of the women that were honored at this luncheon. It was Kim Whitley. It was Issa Rae.
Yep.
Tabitha Brown, Tina Lifford, who plays Aunt Vi on Queen Sugar. It was the 4 little girls who are now, mature women who integrated the New Orleans schools. It was hosted by this anchor from Houston, Tashara, and I hate that I forgot her name, who got a lot of flack because she started wearing her natural hair and braids on air.
It was the Afro puff that got him.
It was the Afro puff. I mean,
Yeah.
And so she wore her hair and Afro puffs that were absolutely stunning and gorgeous.
Yep.
And they came for her. And then she clapped back with, "Why does my crown bother you so much?"
Mm-hmm.
She killed him on that one.
I mean, she was phenomenal, and she's a small statured person, right? But she is a powerhouse. I mean,
A powerhouse.
she through and commands the room, both with her presence and her voice. She was amazing. Captivating.
So there were a couple of moments that I want to share with people, and I'd like to hear what people have to say about we all we got, but we were all we need, because there's so many things happening in this world, whether it's since we've been here, Roe v. Wade, right? Just the economic stability that we need in our community.
Yeah.
We all we got, but we had the Voting Rights Act. We all we got, but we all we need. Like, it really hits on so many things. But something that Kim Whitley said when she was receiving her award, she talked about how being an actress in Hollywood, you're not often seen, and being in this center of women, you know her, you see her past, you've seen her pain, we see her pain, but we also know her power.
Yeah.
And that resonated with every Black woman in the room.
I mean, literally, we were in there taking our phones out like, "Oh, girl, that's good.
That's
You
a bar.
said
Yeah.
that when I got to." And if I were probably a person who, tweeted, there were many tweetable moments, right? But I mean, how often do you go to a program like this and come away still full, still talking about it a week later, right? Like, really, it sparked a conversation. And I'll be honest, around the Crown Act, I didn't really know how much pain there was associated with women and being able to wear their hair the way they wanted to in a workplace or a school setting, right? I've obviously seen the news clips and things that happen, like the young girl who got kicked out of school because they said her braids weren't
Or
appropriate.
the boy who was wrestling and they cut his dreads
Yeah,
before he could wrestle, which was
right. So the onesie and twosies that show up on the news, but this is a everyday struggle for hundreds of thousands of men and women across the United States. And I just really didn't, because it's not something that affects me, right? Personally, I hadn't thought about
but
it.
also let's think about it. I mean, and you and I talked about this, and it could very well have been you were indoctrinated into it and didn't even realize. Like for me, it was never a thought for me when I came out of college about getting braids because I never thought it was an option for me because I knew I had to present a certain way when I went to work. It
Yeah.
was never a question. I didn't entertain it. Yes, you all have braids. It was never a thought of something that I even consider because I knew I had to go to college. And when I went for an interview, I had to wear a navy blue suit or a black suit, right? I knew that I had to wear my hair in a way that would not make other people, white people, feel uncomfortable.
Yep.
I had to talk in a way that would not make them feel uncomfortable, that would not draw attention to myself. These are the things that we are indoctrinated in, that it's not even, it's second nature. So I can understand that you saying that it wasn't something, because right now you have your hair in braids, but you also working well, you work from home.
I do. We have cameras though, right? And I've been in person with my people twice this month and in front of customers, no doubt. Right. But
It's changing though. It's
it
not
is
something that you could have done probably 20 years ago.
for sure, probably not. But for me, I mean, we had this hair is just functional for me. Like, it's not an expression of who I am or, how I want to present to the world. It's literally functional for me. Like,
Right.
I definitely need a ponytail. I can't cut my hair too short because if I can't get a ponytail, like, we got a problem, right?
But it's about other things. And I'd love for anyone else to jump into the comments, because what I have noticed is that most of my girlfriends are now naturalistas, right?
Yeah.
I've got girlfriends now whose children have dreads, little girls.
Mm.
That was never a thing. I would never have seen, if I was 6, 7, 8, first, second, third, fourth grade, never seen little kids with dreads.
I also think it's about how you counter the culture, right? And so are you presenting pictures and personifications of beauty to your children through stories or through, real life people? I have a girlfriend who has locks, and her kids, it's their mother. They think she's beautiful, right? And so, yeah, one of her kids has locks, and I can understand why, because that is what he grew up with in his household, and it is deemed beautiful, right? Because mom is beautiful.
Right.
And so, how are we countering that, with stories or the Crown Act, and now being able to see people on TV who are presenting beautifully with their crowns?
I want to say that I think, first off, the Crown Act has now been passed in 17 states
Yep.
where it is illegal to discriminate against someone for their hairstyle. I mean, so, which
And they are
is,
fighting continuously, and we listen, I'm part of it now. I signed the
you
petition.
signed the petition.
Yeah. Then we have many allies. There's both men and women who are helping support and get this legislation passed. I mean, it's a real thing. It's not just you know, where I
It's a
can
big,
talk about I want to wear my braids to work. It's changing the law.
So Wendy said, since COVID, I wear a hair cover at work every day. It's a relief. My hair is unrelaxed.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I've only recently gone back to straight hair, but for 2 years I was curly. Now I also work in an environment where I work with predominantly people of color,
Mhm.
so it wasn't an issue for me. That was not always the case. I mean, just the fact that we are indoctrinated with having our blackness not make anyone else feel uncomfortable. Don't talk too loud.
Yeah.
Don't say this and that. Don't say ain't. You know what I mean? Like keep your hands to yourself. Like as you should keep your hands to yourself. But
Say, well, those are all the things that I was taught growing up.
well, I mean, listen, Gangsta E's out here in these streets. Now listen, what Tasha Davis wasn't going to do is get out of line. Now listen. But I mean, but I like that we are now, I think there are two things. To your point, we're expanding what we see as beautiful,
Yeah.
but also we're caring more about what white culture thinks about us,
Yeah.
more and more.
Listen, if the lady Tashara, her hair was
Gorgeous.
gorgeous. I wish we had a picture,
Yeah.
but it was, and maybe I might not be good at describing it because I don't know the terminology.
Stop it.
But let's stop it. It was, are they cornrows? But it was braided
She
like
had cornrows that
head
led up into buns,
line,
multiple. It was just
and
gorgeous.
these, sort of Bantu knots, like
Yes.
4 or 6 of them that they. Oh, it was hot.
Stunning.
Yeah.
And so Anthony says, I didn't grow dreads in high school because I was interviewing
Mm,
for an internship. I
I
knew
knew
better. Exactly. Mark Morial who's the president of the National Urban League, he said he even had his own hair story.
that's right. He sure did.
And his hair story was he went to a private like white school and he was on the football team and he grew a big fro, or basketball team and he grew a big fro, but he was prepared. And so they called him into the office and they said, we need you to cut your hair. And he said, well, why? And he said, well, that because it's, whatever, unbecoming of a student. And he said, but the handbook says my hair cannot go 1 inch past my collar. He said, so I was ready for
like
him.
this.
Exactly. If it go out like this,
Yeah.
it is not
Not
past
below
the
my
collar.
collar.
Right. I mean, and so I know he came from a family that, tried and pushed and were leaders in the community. So they were ready for the fight. And he was raised to be ready for the fight. But many of us are raised to let's just get ahead.
Yeah.
Do what we got to do so we can get ahead. And now I'm happy to say I'd like to think that, I mean, as much as there's some craziness going on in the world, we are caring less and less and moving in our own way. And Essence Fest just showed it for sure.
Yeah, and trying to come into that, we're all we need, right?
We are all we need.
From a banking perspective, right? Greenwood
Right.
is out here trying to get us back together.
Right.
And, assets over liabilities, right? Black people teaching people about
Earn Your Leisure group.
financially free.
Yeah, Earn Your Leisure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's great. There's plenty of craziness, like you said, going on, but there is a lot of, you have to choose what you fill your timeline with, right? Choose where you focus your energy, and that's what's going to continue to come to you.
That's right. Evangeline says, I can remember not wanting a student in my class because he twisted his hair. He twisted his hair. I feel differently now. Right, because it was stigma.
Yeah.
It's dirty, it's unclean, it's
Yep.
unkept. But those were images and thoughts that they put on us that help, that changed our view of us. Woo.
And American, right? Because in the islands, it's different, right? Dreads, there's a culture and an honor behind dreads.
Yeah, I mean, it's a religion behind it. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, and so, but what they in this country, in these United States, what we've been taught about ourselves. But let's not get it twisted about Jamaica, because that's a colonialized community, right? Of the Queen of England. And when they walk into Parliament in Jamaica, they have on powdered white wigs.
Mm.
When did black folks ever have powdered white hair?
Uh,
Right? But they're mimicking, English Parliament.
yeah.
And it's the most ridiculous thing to see these jet black people with these white powder wigs. And I mean, to this day,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
So I'm a mom of 2 boys and a girl, right? And I like order, and I'm a Banana Republic girl, right? So I like clean lines, I like fresh haircuts, right? And but I don't take the boys to get their haircut. I take my girl to get her hair done. But real cute today too. She got some braids. But the last time the kids went to the barber shop, one decided he didn't want to get his haircut. He said,
Mhm.
"I like my curls." And I said, "Okay, I see you." And he didn't get his haircut. Now, for me, I'm like, you could at least edge them up a little bit,
Yeah,
let him
yeah.
keep the curls, but edge them up. But yeah, I'm letting him embrace his curls.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. And we weren't always encouraged to do so, again, for the fear and the need to get ahead and understanding what the rules were. And so I can't say it enough that I'm so happy that like we're investing, like it's important for us to invest in black businesses. So if you see any of our posts, you'll see me wearing art by SEN, right? These are t-shirts made by black women featuring black women that I wore all weekend long because I'm here to support, buy from a black woman was all over New Orleans.
Oh man, they are big, right? That's wonderful.
It was just, conversations about from Earn Your Leisure, right? And Tasha and I are always talking about how we can expand our multiple streams of income. And listen, black people, we all we got, but we're all we need, and we need to figure this thing out because it ain't about them no more. I mean, that's just the bottom line. It ain't about them no more.
You know what else I enjoyed about the weekend was it wasn't, obviously there's parties, right? But it wasn't about the parties. I didn't even realize that it was called the Essence Festival of Culture. I just knew it was the Essence Fest, right?
Yeah.
Actually, like the culture part of it is really big. And I don't know if everyone knows this, but I'm just going to share because I didn't. I just thought about like a bunch of black people in New Orleans and parties, but there's like a whole like film track. And so they did black movies. There's a tech track. There was cooking and wine, right?
Baby, you are in
I
a
didn't know
different
this.
you are in a different track and age group. So for some others, it was really a lot of party.
Oh, I'm just saying there's more to it than that. Right?
Absolutely. There's
So
absolutely more to it.
that's not what you're into because I ain't
Yeah.
into that, right? There's
Right.
plenty of stuff there for you to do. Health and beauty, right? Plenty of
Yeah.
free stuff. I mean, and it brings in what, $25 billion to the city?
I mean, yeah, a quarter of $1 billion. And that's the other thing, right? Because the city of New Orleans, and we are just a huge commercial right now for Essence Fest, but it is what it
I
is,
know, right?
right? But the city of New Orleans, right? For the black people in the city of New Orleans, like I ran an event in New Orleans this weekend during this festival weekend,
Fabulous.
which was fabulous. Lots of great stuff went on, and we made sure that we hired black vendors.
Yeah.
Like we hired a black second line, and it's just so important that we keep that front of mind because we all we got
Yep.
and we're all we need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. It was an amazing time.
Anybody in the room been to Essence and felt that same love in the city? Or
Well,
am I the only person in the world that's never been to the Essence Festival of Culture before?
Nicole Anque, I know she has been there. I've got pictures because I was standing next to her at 3 and 4. I mean, it's interesting how what she says. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, I've got pictures of us. Oh, Wendy says been
3
3 times. Sandra Clark, I have
times.
been several times.
See, I would always see like the pictures on social media, and I was like, well, I don't want to go on vacation with the same people I see in the city, right? If I want to go on vacation somewhere, I want to go somewhere and get away from people. But yeah,
And so Yvonne says, I was there. Wendy says, I was there for the parties. Exactly. I'm grown now. I go for different things.
I talked to somebody at work and they were like, "Well, Tasha, I didn't see you. You must not have been at the right places." And I was like, "Well, maybe I wasn't. I don't know."
Yeah, I remember coming home at 10 o'clock in the morning. I remember those. Oh,
Woo!
they were lovely days.
Those days.
I'm a different participant today.
So
All
what
right.
did this whole we all we got, we all we need. Is there something that you are going to do differently as a result of sort of this impactful statement and, the results of the weekend?
Yeah. Now that again, I was working on an event there that was an amazing event called Joy All Day. Now that I'm back, and while I was working on this, Roe v. Wade happened. I'm thinking about what part I will play to help mobilize people to vote during these midterm elections.
Hmm.
And we all we got, but man, if we all get together, we are all we need. Like Roe v. Wade, the change of that hurts minority women the most, uneducated minority women the most. That's us, people who are left with little options and choices. And these folks will turn around and say, and not give them the resources for the child that they made them have, regardless of the reason why they became pregnant. That's not our choice. That's not our business.
Right.
And so these things are important. And what we're seeing more of these gun killings, like we got to do something. What about you?
I haven't fully digested it yet. It's a good question though, right? Yeah, I think, for me sometimes it takes a little more time to digest, but one of the things is thinking more about how to contribute to the we're all we need part, right? You talked about hiring black contractors and that sort of thing. How do I contribute to I am a consumer, right? Consuming black.
Okay, so Anthony just said the ACLU is doing a free abortion activist training series, and he put the link in. Thank you,
Okay.
Anthony. Right? I mean, ultimately,
Yeah.
it's just a woman's right to choose. I'm not saying I'm for or against. I'm saying a woman has the right to choose what she wants to do with her body. No one else should be able to tell her what she can do with her body.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's what it is. So I encourage everyone, right, to really think about we all we got, but we're all we need. Like, what can you do to continue to invest the Black dollars in our community, to advance our culture, to advance our community, to strengthen our community? Like,
Yeah.
that's what I want everyone who's watching to really think about and be intentional about it. Like, we have to, because if you ain't seen nothing in these last few weeks, last years, and hell, our history in America, we need each other. Forget everybody else. Not forget everybody else, but
And if you need support getting there, right? Accountability is right here at your fingertips.
yes.
You can share Nicole's story talking about we all we got, we all we need, right? She wanted to do the rites of passage program, which is part of sharing our history and sharing our story with those who are coming behind us. It was a passion project for her, and we supported her in helping that dream come to life, you know,
Yes.
quickly. I'll say quickly, right?
Yes, quickly. And she did it.
And she
And
did
so
it.
and so we're going to say if you'd like to take our class, you can go change the game as we help Nicole. You can go to bit.ly/AQ class. You can go at your own pace, a very reasonable cost to you. But let Tasha and I help and support you to where you're trying to go in life. And you can always follow us on social media. You can go on Facebook, AQ Partners, Instagram, AQ_partners, and the AQpartners.com. And we're going to get a whole lot better at Instagram and Facebook. We're going to do a whole lot better.
Watch. You just watch.
Watch us.
Comment.
Tasha, it has been lovely, wonderful. Thank you, everyone who joined in and watched us tonight. Thank you for being patient. We've been gone for a few weeks. Take care, everybody.
Bye.